Well, more than 15 schools across Bengaluru received bomb threats through anonymous emails, causing panic among students, parents and school authorities. The first wave of threats targeted 7 schools, including Nepal and Vidya Shilpa in Basaveshwanagar, and was subjected to these alarming threats. One of the threatened schools is situated opposite the residence of Karnataka's Deputy Chief Minister T.K. Shivakumar. Shortly afterwards, several other educational institutions also received similar threats via email. Bengaluru police have evacuated students and staff from the school as a safety precaution. Despite indications that the bomb threats may be hoaxes, police are conducting a thorough investigation and searches of the premises with the help of the bomb disposal squads. They have not yet confirmed the presence of any bombs at any of the schools. More breaking news coming in at this point in time. Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister T.K. Shivakumar is now visiting a school in Bengaluru after these schools received threatening emails. Jayaprakash, my colleague, joins us on the broadcast to talk more about this. We'll have Jayaprakash join us momentarily, but a wave of threats issued to a number of schools in Bengaluru have become a cause of concern for the police as well as the administration. It is not clear at this point in time how authentic these threats have been, but the Deputy Chief Minister is on the ball as we speak. He's conversing with the police and taking stock of the situation and what exactly is going on. So once again, there is a sense of tension in the city of Bangalore. School children have been evacuated from a number of schools after bomb threats were sent on email and on phones as well. Jayaprakash Ramaiya, my colleague, is joining us on the broadcast to talk more about this. Jayaprakash, now this is a serious concern. There is no way to tell without involving the authorities and the police whether this was just a joke or a hoax. But the fact of the matter is, when it comes to Karnataka and the atmosphere where terror could prevail, this is something to look into.
Well, Bangalore has its own history when you talk about serial blasts and terror activities. Bangalore is notorious for having sleeper cells also when you talk about terrorists. There are intel reports that suggest that there are many who are in the guise of being a commoner. Anyone can be embedded in the society and in the ecosystem. Time and again, this has been proved. There are links of ISIS amongst others too. But then this is a little too much for anyone to digest. 18 schools have received threat letters and hoax calls. Of course, on an average, about 4 hoax calls are received in Bengaluru, if you talk about an average throughout the year. And 18 schools was a big number, and all these schools were asked to shut down. There are bomb squads which are rushed off. Remember, there are about a dozen bomb squads in Bengaluru. But then if you talk about 18 schools, then they have to prioritize and then go in a methodical way. Now, this has alerted the authorities and the City Police Commissioner that, in fact, jumping into action, and the teams were disposed of to check on the authenticity of these bombs, and ultimately it turned out to be hoax. But then this was taken up seriously. T.K. Shivakumar, who is the Bangalore in-charge minister, he also runs a couple of schools under the Global Institute. So he went on inspection this morning, and a meeting has been called of all the college and school authorities. Many times it is only miscreants who want to create some kind of a panic, and they end up doing such acts. Arrests have been made so far, phone calls have been traced, and in many occasions it has been found that some mischievous students would have done any of these activities. Remember, it is board exam time, and just to call off these exams, this might have been one of the hoax calls. But nonetheless, to say 18 phone calls in a day across Bengaluru was quite an alarming call.
Right, and Jayaprakash, like you rightly said, this is an important phase for students in terms of examinations as well. We are not sure at this point in time whether this is going to be termed as a hoax call or not, but Bangalore as a city and the school administration needs to find out that schools cannot be disrupted if it is discovered that these calls were a hoax.
Absolutely. About 1,800 schools in Bengaluru. When you talk about top schools, a chain of schools, including the Delhi Public School, the Kumarans, then you have the Kendriya Vidyalayas, the Bishop Cottons, Baldwins, all have their own security apparatus. They have a procedure, they have SOPs to follow, and the campuses are thoroughly checked and sanitized time and again. But what about those small schools? There are about 1,300 small schools. These schools have been opened up in residential buildings and localities with no proper security. With this being the case, it becomes all the more difficult for the police to reach and sanitize these areas. But then a system needs to be put in place when you talk about safety of schools. We have seen in the past too, there were cases of pop show that was alarming in Bengaluru. On an average, about 3 to 4 cases per day came to light, and it was a pattern, a trend that saw with maligned schools of Bengaluru, and this time hoax calls, spooking the police authorities and sending parents into a tizzy.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.